Kassandra's legacy is far from over. It looks like Assassin's Creed Shadows might be the place where her next chapter unfolds. There's already promotional material hinting at a crossover in Japan. However, this promotional material is the least impressive clue I've found. Because the biggest clues? They're actually hidden inside recent Assassin's Creed games themselves. This is a lot to cover, but no worries, I've broke it down for you and packed everything into 7 solid clues. One of the first clues comes from a game that isn't even released yet. A game set in China where, surprisingly, we see Kassandra. Thanks to leaked footage, we now have a visual confirmation of her appearance in the upcoming game, Assassin's Creed Jade. She's part of a mission where we play as a Chinese assassin, and we even get a cutscene with her. This tells us something important. Ubisoft is already planning for Kassandra's future, and this matters. Not only does it connect her to the Asian Hidden Ones historically, but it also proves that Ubisoft is still invested in her role within the franchise. They want to continue her journey. But why would they do that in Japan? I mean, yes, Assassin's Creed Shadows is the newest game, but that's not the main reason she would appear there. They would do it in Japan because first, the timing is perfect, and second, there's an ISO artifact that we already have information about. And what could be a super epic ISO artifact in Feudal Japan? You guessed it, a katana. Thanks to Assassin's Creed memories, we know that the Sword of Eden is located in Japan. But here is where it gets even better. One of the characters in AC Shadows actually comes into possession of this exact sword. And it's none other than Oda Nobunaga. At some point he loses the sword, but it's rediscovered during the time of Assassin's Creed Shadows. On top of that, the historical timing lines up perfectly, with Portuguese traders arriving in Japan. The exact connection needed to make this crossover feel natural. But the evidence gets even better when you look at what's actually inside the games. You probably remember the final moments of the crossover mission in Odyssey. Kassandra spoke to an ISO named Alethea about her new duty after receiving the staff of Hermes. But here's the important part. Alethea displayed a map of ISO artifacts scattered across the world, including one in Japan. I know, I just mentioned the Sword of Eden in Japan, that's nothing new. But this is a fresh hint regarding the location of other ISO artifacts. At least fresher than a digital card game from 2014. So how does this all fit into the bigger story? Listen to what Alethea has to say about Kassandra's role.
There is a task that lies ahead for the Keeper of the Staff, if you are willing to take it. A task that will take the rest of your mortal life. Undisturbed, the artifacts are no threat, but if found by the wrong kind, human life may be destroyed.
It really sounds like Oda Nobunaga getting his hands on an ISO sword is motivation enough for Kassandra to travel to Japan. Of course, this is subject to change, especially after Nobunaga's death. However, this isn't the first time we've seen a world map of ISO artifacts. Let me know in the comments down below if you remember which one I mean. So we know that the timing for Kassandra is perfect, and we have a strong reason for her to be in Japan. But one thing is missing: an emotional connection between Kassandra and Japan. Take a look at the promotional page for the free DLC, Claws of Awaji from Assassin's Creed Shadows. This hidden blade is embedded in the official page, but it's not just any hidden blade, it belonged to Darius. A familiar face from Assassin's Creed Odyssey's DLC, Legacy of the First Blade. This isn't random. It was placed there on purpose. But this still isn't the emotional connection I was teasing earlier. If you remember, Darius was ultimately Kassandra's father-in-law and the grandfather of her child. A child he raised to protect it. So this blade has also emotional value to her, if she even knows it still exists. Of course, this is all speculation. Maybe we see another origin story about the Hidden Ones. Or maybe Kassandra only appears in a small quest arc. But regardless, due to her emotional ties and her connection to the Hidden Ones, her presence in Japan wouldn't just be logical, it would be the perfect setup for her to appear in Assassin's Creed Shadows. All the pieces are there, they just need to be connected. But that's not really possible without the developers. Luckily, one of them shared some positive insights. Game Rant interviewed creative director Jonathan Dumont, and he had something very interesting to say about Kassandra's whereabouts. Kassandra is very much alive during these times. She's somewhere around the globe, lurking in the shadows. This could mean anything. But why be so specific unless they're planning something? That's not just a casual comment, that's practically a wink to the players. I know, guys, maybe it's not planned at all, maybe they're still evaluating. But lurking in the shadows? Come on. That's not a confirmation, but it's yet another hint at why Kassandra could appear in the shadows. Ubisoft is interested in continuing crossover stories. Developers are sharing insights. And story-wise, it makes complete sense. So what is Ubisoft doing to make this crossover even more obvious? They're adding the new Animus Hub where we can seamlessly transition from Shadows to Odyssey. The Animus Hub will introduce tons of technical features, but that's not all. Currencies will be shared across the franchise, and rewards will be available in different AC games. This means the motivation to jump between games is already there, and a crossover story would make this transition even more logical. And let's be real, Ubisoft could make even more money through crossovers, since they're a great way to market older games or other games. The Animus Hub isn't just a cool feature, it's the perfect technical foundation for these crossovers. To wrap up this video, I still want to deliver you the cherry on top. Let's talk about what the head of the franchise, Marc-Alexis Cote, had to say about the future of Assassin's Creed. Because this is what should convince you that a crossover is inevitable. Marc-Alexis Cote, vice president and executive producer from Assassin's Creed, stated in an interview with Game Rant that Ubisoft is building towards something much bigger than just individual games. He even shared that they are shifting how they tell the meta story, connecting it across multiple games. So something they used to do in the Ezio trilogy or something they used to do in the modern day story. They are creating an Assassin's Creed multiverse where characters and timelines intersect in meaningful ways. I mean, what else do you need to hear? This doesn't just sound like the Animus Hub. This sounds like a wink towards more crossover stories. Or how else would you intersect characters and timelines in a meaningful way? The strategy is already in place. The Animus Hub provides the technical support. The story options are endless. Kassandra has a real reason to be in Japan, and most importantly, we have actual proof that Ubisoft is still using her in the future. Everything leads to a crossover story with Kassandra. And when she eventually shows up in Shadows, remember what I've told you here. So if you haven't already, drop a like on this video. There was a ton of work to collect all the informations. But regardless, have a wonderful time and enjoy playing in the Shadows.